This might be the most dangerous moment of the 21st century, not because a war has started, but because no one knows how it ends within just 48 hours. Over 1,500 targets were hit, entire military systems collapsed, a nation's leadership structure was shattered, and one narrow waterway, just a few miles wide, suddenly held the power to shake the entire global economy. The United States calls it Operation Epic Fury. Israel calls it Operation Roaring Lion, but across the world. Governments, analysts, and millions of people are asking the same question: is this the beginning of World War III? Because what just happened was not a warning. It was not a limited strike. It was something far more dangerous. It was a calculated attempt to change the balance of power permanently. Step 2, the day everything changed, began in a way that surprised everyone, not at midnight, not in darkness, but in broad daylight, and that single decision reveals the real intention behind the operation, because modern warfare usually begins at night to hide movements. Confuse surprise boot team. The attack wanted visibility, it wanted timing, it wanted precision over secrecy, because the objective wasn't just to destroy. It was to catch power exactly where it lives, inside offices, inside command centers, inside government buildings, where leaders feel safe, where decisions are made, where systems function, and within minutes those systems began to collapse. Step 3, the strike not just attack. But STRATEGY, this wasn't a random bombing campaign. This was one of the most coordinated military operations in modern history, across multiple regions. Simultaneous. Strikes hit missile facilities, nuclear infrastructure, military bases, intelligence centers, naval assets. Everything was hit at once. Why? Because in modern warfare, speed is power and confusion is a weapon. If you overwhelm a country fast enough, it doesn't get time to respond, and that's exactly what this operation tried to achieve. Step 4, the real target, not just. MILITAR, why most people think wars are about destroying armies, but this one was different. This wasn't just about weakening Iran's military. This was about breaking its leadership system. Think about that. Not just removing leaders, but destroying the system that replaces them, because if leadership collapses, decision-making collapses, coordination collapses, and eventually resistance collapses. This is called a decapitation strategy, and it's one of the most aggressive forms of modern warfare. Step 5. Why this is extremely rare. Decapitation strikes are not new, but successful ones almost never happen, because governments are designed to survive. There are backups, chains of command, hidden structures, emergency protocols. So when a country attempts a strike like this, it's taking a massive risk, because if it fails, the response can be catastrophic, and that's exactly why this moment is so dangerous. Step 6. The firepower, a message to the world. This wasn't just an attack. It was a display of power, the kind meant not just for Iran, but for every country watching. Stealth bombers, advanced fighter jets, cruise missiles, carrier strike groups, and a new generation of warfare. Swarm drones, cheap but fast, disposable, but when used in large numbers, almost unstoppable. They don't just destroy targets, they overwhelm systems, and once defenses are overwhelmed, even the strongest military becomes vulnerable. Step 7. The moment Iran Ariespo and Deardy hears where the story changes, because Iran didn't collapse, it responded. Missiles launched, drones deployed, targets hit across the region, U.S. bases, allied positions, strategic installations, and suddenly, this wasn't a one-sided operation anymore. This was escalation, and escalation is what turns conflicts into wars. Step 8. The hidden BATTLEFILD, but the real battlefield, is not where bombs are falling. It's not in cities. It's not in bases. It's here. The Strait of Hormuz, a narrow stretch of water, but one of the most important locations on Earth, because nearly 1/5 of the world's oil passes through it, and that gives it power, not military power, but economic power, the kind that can affect every country. Step 9. How war becomes. GLOBAL. Here's something most people don't realize. You don't need to close the strait to cause chaos. You just need to make it dangerous, because once ships feel threatened, everything changes. Insurance costs skyrocket. Shipping slows down. Prices rise. Markets panic, and within days, the effects spread across the entire world. Fuel prices increase. Inflation rises. Economies weaken. This is how a regional conflict becomes a global crisis. Step 10. Iran's real strategy. Why Iran doesn't need to win this war. That's the key. It just needs to survive long enough to make the cost too high for everyone else. This is called asymmetric warfare instead of fighting directly. You stretch the conflict. You create pressure everywhere. You make the battlefield larger than the enemy can control, and slowly you change the game. Step 11. The fog of war. Truth versus an ARRATIVE right now. No one has the full picture. Some reports are confirmed, others are not. Some events are real, others are exaggerated, and some are completely false, because in modern war, information itself becomes a weapon. Narratives shape perception, and perception shapes decisions. Step 12. The 3 possible FUTURES. Now everything depends on what happens next, because from here, por escenario 1, internal, COLLAPSE leadership breaks, power struggles begin, different factions compete, and the country becomes unstable from within. But collapse doesn't mean peace, or it means chaos en aéreo. 2. Regional WAR allies get involved. Multiple fronts open, attacks spread across countries, and suddenly, this is un scénario 3, global et choquati, is the most dangerous, because it doesn't require victory, it only requires disruption. If global trade routes are affected, if oil supply is threatened, the entire world is pulled in, and that's how world wars begin. Step 13. The reality. No one talks about the most dangerous part isn't the weapons, it's not the strikes, it's not even the response, it's this loss of control, because once escalation begins, it becomes harder to stop. Decisions become faster, mistakes become more likely, and consequences become bigger. Step 14. Final to show you GHT, this is not just another chapter in history. This is a turning point, a moment where the future becomes uncertain, because wars don't start with declarations anymore. They start with actions. With strikes, with responses, with escalation on Bizatim. The world realizes what's happening. Already, so the question is not est savoir. The real question is, how big will it become? If you want to understand what happens next, and how a conflict like this could turn into a global war, watch the next video on your screen, because what comes next is even more dangerous.